Gonna be the first on the dance floor, the first to raise my hand, the first to state my opinion, the first to take a stand. I won't play it safe and wait for a sign. I'm gonna throw myself out there and let my light shine. Let it shine, let it shine. I'll let my big, bright, brilliant beam of radiant light shine. Ow! I'll be on Oprah and Conan, 60 Minutes and The View. They'll all be talking about me and all the things I do. I'll be the one who sets the bar, the one who's in the know. Vogue will come to me to see where fashion trends will go. 'Cause I shine, yes I shine. I let my big, bright, brilliant beam of radiant light shine. For too many years I hid my light, fearing I was too much and who I was just wasn't right. Then I heard this voice from within and up above saying, you're here to be a shining light and give and receive love. So I'm going for my dreams, nothing's in my way. Carpe diem is my mantra, I practice kindness every day. I take time to connect, I take time to have fun. I wanna know I've used up every drop before my life is done. So I shine, yes I shine. I let my big, bright, brilliant beam of radiant light shine. Just wasn't right. Then I heard this voice from within and up above saying, you're here to be a shining light and give and receive love. Give and receive love. I am a woman of power, a woman of grace. The life that I've lived is in every wrinkle on my face. And I love myself so I can love you too. And I know when we're connected there ain't nothing we can't do. So let's shine, let's all shine. Let's let our big, bright, brilliant beam of radiant light shine. I see you shine, shine, yes you shine, shine. I see your big, bright, brilliant beam of radiant light shine. Watch me shine, oh I shine. I let my big, bright, brilliant beam of radiant light shine. Shine, yeah, let's all shine. Let's let our big, bright, brilliant beam of radiant light shine.
Good morning, Celebration Center for Spiritual Living, and welcome to another beautiful, glorious Sunday morning. So, if you don't know who I am, my name is Reverend Chris Ashley. I'm the senior minister here at Celebration Center, and we are physically located in Falls Church, Virginia, in the DC metro area. However, we are truly a global community with a commitment to offer every single thing that we possibly can in a hybrid format that involves everyone, whether you're joining us online or here in person. So, this morning, if you are joining us online, I would love for you to say good morning in the chat. Let us know that you're here this morning, that you're joining us from home or perhaps vacation or wherever it may be. And if you are joining us for the first time today, we have a QR code for you. And so I invite you to use your phone to snap a picture of this QR code. And in doing so, it's going to lead you to just a little form that you can fill out to let us know who you are, how you find us, and how you found us, and how we can support you in this community and bring you into our global community that we are creating. We have an amazing service. I know, I say it every week, but it's true. We have Lynn Hollyfield, our music director, who I promise I know, providing our music for us today. Yay, Lynn. We have Jen Fay. Are you doing music as well this morning, Jen? Oh, okay, not really, but Jen Fay is our practitioner on platform this morning, so yay, Jen. And then, y'all, I don't know if you saw my email this morning, but I have a big announcement. Are y'all ready for my big announcement? Hold on to your chairs. I'm so excited about this. So I have been in conversation with the Leadership Council, the Practitioner Corps, and Reverend Lydia Joy Ayers, who you might have seen is our guest speaker today. And I am so excited to announce that we are going to be holding her letter of call, and she is going to be joining us as the Practitioner Support Minister for our community. So yay, Reverend Lydia Joy. Let's give her a hand. So Reverend Lydia Joy, like I said, she's going to be speaking today, so you can get to know her a little bit more because she is joining our community as one of our ministers, which means that I will officially be the senior minister now because now we have other ministers, right? And she is going to be primarily supporting the practitioners and supporting them and then supporting y'all. So it's kind of this sort of effect of everybody has the support that they need. So let me tell you a little bit about Reverend Lydia Joy. She is a licensed minister with Centers for Spiritual Living. She completed her education with the Holmes Institute in 2021, and she has been a practitioner and ministerial intern with Universal Spirit Center in San Diego, California since 2018. So she is currently in the process from moving from San Diego, California to Winston-Salem, North Carolina, which is only about 5 hours from here. And she is continuing her education at Wake Forest University to get her Master's of Divinity. She is building a ministry of peace, compassion, and presence through chaplaincy and community-based grassroots inspirations. And Reverend Lydia Joy is one of my nearest and dearest friends. She's actually also my maid of honor. And so I am so excited for what this means for our community because she just has so much to offer and bring to a community. And it is just such a blessing that we managed to snag her to hold her letter of call and have her be a minister here. So yay, Reverend Lydia Joy. So now I have a few other announcements. The month of July, y'all did an amazing job. We collected like 4 big bags of shampoo last month, shampoo and some conditioner. So thank you for Lutheran Social Services. The month of July, she said they are still in need of shampoo. So we have a couple of options. You can bring one or all or a couple, but they are looking for bar soap, shampoo and toothpaste. So I invite you for the month of July to bring in bar soap, shampoo, and the big tubes of toothpaste. Not travel size, but like big, honkin', put it on your counter and it lasts you a million years toothpaste. So please bring all of those in for the month of July. And once again, if you are online or not located here physically, there is a VIA option in our giving. And if you put money into that fund, we will use that fund to buy supplies for Lutheran social services for the refugees. We also are continuing to do flat earnest. Ivor, can we see your flat earnest? I know he's here. So Ivor took creative liberties with his flat earnest. So here is, I am just loving seeing everybody's decorated flat earnest. It's my new favorite thing, honestly. You can go now, yes. So if you have not gotten your flat earnest yet, you can get them off the website, you can get them off the e-news, or you can pick them up on the table over there. Decorate him in all of the directions for how to get us pictures and how to bring him in for our flat earnest round table that we're going to be doing on the bulletin board is on there. And then finally, last week I mentioned that we are going to be doing a New Thought Renaissance in partnership with Unity of Fairfax. Do y'all remember that? No, y'all don't even remember. That's great because because we are postponing it. There's been several things that have come up. A couple, my partner in crime, Reverend Russell, came down with COVID. He is recovering and he is okay. But with that, and then one of our other speakers actually wound up testing positive as well, we've decided to postpone to the fall. So this is going to be a back-to-school event that you're going to be hearing a lot more about because we're going to need volunteers and support and marketing and all kinds of cool stuff. So stay tuned. The New Thought Renaissance is still happening, but it is not happening on July 13th. So take that date out of your brain, and I'll keep you posted. And then it is July. And so if you have a birthday or an anniversary in the month of July, if you could raise your hand or put what it is, an anniversary, a birthday, or what the date is in the chat, and then raise your hand if you're in the room. Tim, when's your birthday? Tomorrow. Tim is our Independence Day baby. And then Miriam. July 28th, yay, Miriam. And July 16th, Judy, yay, Judy, July 16th. And then anybody in the chat popping up with their birthdays? I know Kathy Dennis has a birthday today. Happy birthday, Kathy. And let's sing happy birthday. Happy birthday
to you. Happy birthday, dear Buddy. Happy birthday to you.
Yay! And with all of that, go ahead and stay up here, Lynn, and we'll have you do an opening song.
All right, great. For some of you who were here for the community sing-along, we started looking at this beautiful song written by Leah Morris, and it was inspired by Amanda Gorman's poem for the inauguration that she read, and it's called Be the Light. So I hope you'll try to sing along with me here. There is always a light when we are ready to see it. There is always a light when we are ready to be it. To see the light, to be the light, to raise your eyes in the dark of night, to climb this hill. Together we will. There is always a light, there is always, when we're ready to see it. There is always a light when we are ready to be it, to see the light, to be the light, to raise your eyes in the dark of night, to climb this hill. Together we will shine shine your light in the darkness. Shine your light in the darkness. Let your bright heart shine out loud and climb this hill. Together we will. One more time. Shine your light in the darkness. Shine your light in the darkness. Let your bright heart shine out loud and be a gift in the world. Back to the first verse. There is always a light when we are ready to see it. There is always a light when we are ready to be it. To see the light, to be the light, to raise your eyes in the dark of night and climb this hill. Together we will be light. Thanks, everybody.
Good morning and happy summer. And so at this time, just take a breath. Just feel your body. Feel the movement, the rhythm of your breath at this sacred time in the service. We would like to affirm and speak our vision out loud. And so repeating with me, we are celebrating spirit within and knowing the oneness of humanity. And if you'll join me in just some nice, relaxing time here, just close your eyes or soften your gaze, whatever is comfortable for you. Just feeling the support of your chair, the support of the floor beneath your feet. Bring your awareness to your heart. Just knowing that just your awareness, just your focus on your heart, just invites that energy to expand. The love in your heart expanding. Amazing, powerful, spiritual, positive energy radiates out from each heart into the world. Feeling like you're breathing into your heart. This will be a breath that has 3 parts. An inhale, a pause, and an exhale. So a nice inhale. Hold that breath. And exhale. And inhale. Hold. And exhale. One more time. Inhale. Hold. And exhale. As we feel the peace in this moment that we have created through the breath. Continue to be aware of that inner light, that essence within your heart that's shining out. And as it shines out, it connects with everyone in this room, everyone online, everyone who will watch this service later. I invite you to stay in this sweet space of peace as I share some quotes. This first one is from Brené Brown about our loving ourselves. How much we know ourselves is extremely important, but how we treat ourselves is the most important. I found some very interesting quotes from Charlie Chaplin. I was wondering if he knew Ernest Holmes. He writes, "As I began to love myself, I stopped craving for a different life, and I could see that everything that surrounded me was inviting me to grow. I call that maturity. As I began to love myself, I understood that any circumstance I'm in it puts me in the right place at the right time. And everything happens at the right moment. So I can be calm. Today I call that self-confidence. As I began to love myself, I freed myself from anything that is not good for my health, including food, people, things, situations, everything that drew me down and away from myself. At first I called this an attitude of healthy egotism. Today I know it as love of oneself. As I began to love myself, I refused to go on living in the past and worrying about the future. Now I only live for the moment where everything is happening. Today I live each day and call it fulfillment. As I began to love myself, I recognized that my mind can disturb me and it can make me sick. But as I connected it to my heart, my mind became a valuable ally. Today I call this connection wisdom of the heart. We no longer need to fear arguments, confrontations, or any kind of problems with ourselves or others. Even stars collide, and out of their crashing, new worlds are born. Today I know that that is life. Please join me in prayer. And so knowing that there is one life that is perfectly designed and perfectly orchestrated and is expressing through each person and all of life. We simply relax into this moment, knowing we are in the perfect place at the perfect time, knowing that we are evolving, that everything that surrounds us is right here for us. That life is on our side, and that everything within us is perfectly designed. And so it is from that awareness I claim love. Love of self. Because we are spirit in form. Because we are the essence of spirit. We are amazing. We are creative, brilliant, wise. We are filled with light, joy, peace. We bring all of these qualities everywhere we go. They emanate from that amazing heart light. And so there is so much to love about each of us. And we simply breathe into that space of acceptance of anything that seems less than, knowing that even that is perfect. I'm so grateful for each person, all of their gifts and talents, and even the things they would call flaws. For in those things, we are human. And we share that space of humanity with a sense of compassion and grace. I simply release these words and ideas into that law that responds to what is possible. And all things are possible through Spirit. And so it is.
That was beautiful. So I'm going to share a song this morning that I wrote about kind of the being on the journey of kind of figuring out who I am. This is called Layers. Layers on layers, piled up on new. Layers on layers, how can I get to you? I'm searching, I'm digging, I'm praying, and I'm singing, oh, but when will I, when will I find you? I see a hidden identity. I hear a cry unheard. I feel the joy of laughter cut down by voice and a stare. It's a long journey with hidden treasures on the way. A tall cliff, a deep cavern, I won't let them get in my way. I'm standing alone on the earth, nothing I own. Who's the sky, the stars, the sound? I'm near the heart of underground, and there's layers on layers, piled up on new. Layers on layers, how can I get to you? I'm searching, I'm digging, I'm praying, I'm singing, oh, but when will I find you? but here an inner voice that sees and accepts myself, releasing the controlling force. Layers on layers piled up on you. Layers on layers. How can I get to you? I'm searching, I'm digging, I'm praying, I'm singing. Oh, but when will I find you? When will I find you?
Good morning, and thank you. Thank you, Jen, for that beautiful prayer, and Lynn for that wonderful song. It's good to be here with you all today. I had the pleasure of meeting several of you at a few meetings over the last couple of months, and I also came to visit Rev Chris last July, I guess, in the DC area. So I was at your center then, and it's great to be back. So I'm going to own myself a little bit right now. I can only see me, and that's just how it works when things are streaming, and it is a little funny to keep saying you all and only see my face. So if I'm making an expression, it's because of that. But good morning, it's really great to be here with you today. I am Reverend Lydia Joy Ayers, as you already know. Today's topic is me, myself, and I. And Rev Chris and I did not plan this on purpose, but when we were in communication and deciding about my joining Celebration Center, we were looking for a Sunday that would be good to announce it and for me to speak. And it just so happened that it landed on me, myself, and I, which is great because you all will get the opportunity to hear some of my story and I get to share with you, and it can sort of kickstart this exploration together. But when we talk about me, myself, and I, what I really want us to talk about this morning is owning ourselves and owning our own story. So I have a little self-owning to go ahead and do this morning, like acknowledging that I can't see you, so I'm just talking to my own face, and also that as Lynn was playing her very beautiful song, I think I spilled coffee on myself. I am the clumsiest person I have ever met, and that you will probably meet too. So we're just gonna roll with it. Take a breath there, because I need one to get started. Right. Jen, before her beautiful prayer, mentioned a quote by Brene Brown that really struck me. I don't remember it word for word, but it was something about the importance isn't knowing ourselves, it's loving ourselves or being kind to ourselves, how we talk to ourselves. And that's so on point for today, because I think part of understanding me, myself, and I, part of really coming to own ourselves and our story, and for me to own myself and my story, has been loving myself in all of the ways that I show up, and loving myself through my changes. One of the most important points in this talk to me, and one of my favorite personal soapboxes, is that the self is not a fixed and stable, unchanging identity. Ourselves are mutable. Ourselves are changing. I'm sure that each of you, well, I would assume that each of you could relate if I said something like, I've been 7 or 8 different versions of me throughout my entire life. It was all me the whole time, but that self is never like a final target. Again, one of my favorite soapboxes is to move from destination thinking into journey thinking. So even in uncovering and getting to learn ourselves, there's an importance in realizing that there's no self-discovery that's complete. You know, you're not the jewel inside of the temple that Indiana Jones is coming to find and look at, and then, aha, here it is, I have got myself. The finding the self is that exploration. It is that journey into the temple. It is that journey into ourselves, and it is going to change, and that's okay. That's by design. That's how it goes. But that can be really challenging and really scary, because allowing ourselves to change includes things like trying something new and being ready to take a risk and fail. Since it is my first Sunday speaking with y'all, and since I am coming on as a minister, I want to include a lot of insight into my own process, partly because this talk is all about our relationships with ourselves, and partly, again, so you get to know me a little bit. So I think of myself as a very organized person. I'm generally very prepared. I love an outline. I love a script. I love knowing what's going to happen. And all week, as I have tried to write this talk, I have been unable to write the outline for it the way that I normally do for talks. It just hasn't worked. And it reminded me of when I first started giving Sunday talks, and when I first took my class on how to give Sunday talks through the School of Spiritual Leadership. What I wanted to do was essentially write an essay and then stand on stage and read that essay, because it was prepared, because I knew what was going to happen, and because I knew how I was going to say it, when I was going to say it. It was all ready. I didn't have to worry about, what myself might look like in that moment. It was ready. It was the jewel uncovered and presented, not the question in the uncovering it. And my instructor encouraged me not to do that. Lovingly, but also firmly. I was not allowed to just read an essay. And we learned to give talks from an outline. And if any of you have talked to Rev Chris about her process with giving talks, it is much more fluid than mine has been up until now. Not based on an outline. It's kind of bubbles and everything is all interconnected, and it's really wonderful. And the thought of preparing to speak just from the heart and seeing what happens always frightened me. And then all week, as I've been writing this talk, the outline would not happen. And I called Rev Chris yesterday because, as she mentioned, not only is she now my boss, she is one of my closest friends, and she's who I call when I'm panicking about something. So I called her yesterday afternoon. I'm in San Diego, so I think it was 2 o'clock my time, which means it was probably 5 or 6 o'clock hers. And she answered the phone by saying, "Is this your I'm speaking tomorrow panic call?" And I had to laugh because, yes, it is. And she's like, "Oh, you're behind schedule. I expected this a lot earlier today." And what I had to tell her was, I think I'm changing. Something in me has changed. I can't give a talk from a prepared, structured outline anymore. That's not how it works. That's not how God wants to move through me. And I'm really scared. It's really scary to do something new, especially when it's like y'all's first impression of me and I kind of want you to like me. I have no control over that, and I have no control over this talk, and I have no control over the ways that myself is changing. What I have control over is if I choose to love it and if I choose to let it happen. So I'm doing something vulnerable today. And we're given the talk just from a couple little bullets and letting God come in. Because God is, as we all know, we're each expressions of the divine showing up exactly how it wants to. The more I learn myself and the more I uncover about myself and the more I allow myself to change, the more I realize how much that level of control and how much that level of planning and order, while sometimes is really great, like if I have to travel or orchestrate something, sometimes keeps me away from the experience of God. It's not letting the divine rush into the moment. It's not letting the divine express itself as me the way that it wants to or the way that it needs to. It's instead saying like, oh no, my Lydia Joy brain, that's only this big, knows more than the infinite mind and deserves, maybe not deserves, but is better suited to be in control. And I know intellectually that that's not the case. It can take some time to get there. But here we are. I think it's really important that we learn to allow ourselves to change, allow ourselves to grow. There's an element of owning ourselves and our stories, and an element of this journey to me, myself, and I that involves self-talk. And by self-talk, I don't so much mean the running narrative of like, why did I do that? Why did I do this? But what's sitting behind that narrative, even doing the judging in the first place. It's really tempting to have these kind of rigid, fixed, stable identities and then measure myself against them. I keep wanting to say ourselves. I'm going to keep it only for me. It's really tempting for me to have this rigid identity as Lydia Joy is a person who is well-planned. Lydia Joy is a person who has things under control. And then everything I do measures up to that. Was my outline good enough? Was my paper good enough? Did I say the right thing in that phone call? And what we do when we identify with those really rigid identity groups is really limit ourselves. And there is power, of course, in finding our people and finding our identities. I'm not saying that that's inappropriate or that you should throw that out altogether. I'm certainly not throwing it out altogether. But the danger is then this line of thinking starts where if I am X, can I also be Y? If I am a person who plans well and is in control of my life, can I also be a person who is fluid, who is ready to meet the day as it comes, who is open to divine interpretation? Which identity do I protect? And how do I protect that identity? And are they in competition with each other? And if we embrace ourselves as mutable and flexible and ever-changing, this doesn't have to be a struggle. Because sure, those are both parts of me. We each contain multitudes, right? I can be two things at once, and they don't have to be in competition with one another. So when it comes to owning ourselves and owning our stories, I think it's also really important that we remember how we do one thing is how we do everything. So my relationship with myself is how I have a relationship with every person in my life and how I have a relationship with God. And if I am stuck, if I am so committed to it being one way and to it being the way that it's always been, what am I telling those relationships? And what am I telling God? And what am I making space for in my life? Excuse me one moment. Audre Lorde said there is no such thing as a single issue struggle because we do not live single issue lives. And while that's true for many aspects of our life, it's also true for the way that we look at ourselves. I am not only ever one thing. I'm not only ever Lydia Joy the minister. I'm not only ever Lydia Joy the sister. I'm not only ever Lydia Joy the daughter, Lydia Joy the friend, Lydia Joy the many aspects of me. All of these are happening all at once. So being sure that we are careful in our relationships with ourselves and permissive of change and permissive of discovery means that we are permissive of discovery with everyone else in our lives too. And I want to start bringing in the concept of intervulnerability. Reverend Chris is going to speak with you about this through the month. She sent me a really wonderful quote. It's a little bit long, so forgive me. I'm going to read it. We're not going to unpack this whole quote today, but I do want to give you the whole thing right now, just so that you have a little bit of context for the part that I'm going to pull out. So when I say we are intervulnerable, I mean we suffer together, whether consciously or unconsciously. Albert Einstein called the idea of a separate self an optical delusion of consciousness. Martin Luther King Jr. said that we are all connected in an inescapable web of mutuality. There is no way out, though we try to escape by armoring ourselves against pain, and in the process diminishing our lives and our consciousness. But in our intervulnerability is our salvation, because awareness of the mutuality of suffering impels us to search for ways to heal the whole, rather than encase ourselves in a bubble of denial and impossible individualism. At this point in history, it seems that we will either destroy ourselves or find a way to build a sustainable life together. This is a quote from psychotherapist Miriam Greenspan. And what I really want to call out to you this morning is a bit from the middle of that quote. We try to escape by armoring ourselves against pain, and in the process diminishing our lives and our consciousness. These rigid identities that we create and this inflexibility with ourselves, this inability to allow ourselves to change and mute and flow, often comes, at least for me, from a place of armoring myself against pain, and in the process diminishes my life. I am 98% certain, if I could see you, I would have you raise your hands, but I can't. So I'm fairly certain, I'm willing to bet, that I am not the only person who finds vulnerability really uncomfortable. And in that discomfort, it is so easy and so tempting to throw up walls. And those walls can look like identities. Those walls can look like the way that I have always been before. For me, that wall often looks like control or hiding out. So I want to talk a little bit about how we hide out in our lives. And I know that we love in CSL to talk about our own personal integrity and honesty and vulnerability. And it is also really tempting to even hide out in that definition or to even hide out in those concepts. Because we can develop this sense of self that I am really vulnerable, or I am really willing to surrender to the divine, or whatever it is, but only in these areas. And then someplace else we're hiding. And I'm going to give you an example from my own life. I, a few years ago now, had the experience of realizing that despite going through ministerial school, despite going through practitioner training, despite my daily spiritual practice, my daily readings, all of these things I was doing that I thought had me really connected with myself, had me really aware of who I was, had me really open and vulnerable, I was absolutely shutting down every single day. Gotta take a sip, hang on. It's dry in San Diego. I don't know about there. I bet it's humid, but where was I? Oh, hiding out. So these areas of lack of honesty and hiding. I was so uncomfortable with how vulnerable that I felt that I hid behind alcohol almost every day of my life. I don't do that anymore. But it was a serious experience, and the most poignant and exciting and beautiful thing about realizing that was then getting the opportunity to uncover myself more in changing it and in moving on. I see, hang on, I got a little thingy. Oh, I didn't realize I could see y'all's comments. Thank you. So the experience of recognizing what I was doing was at first absolutely terrifying. I cannot express that to you enough. I know that you have all experienced this. I don't know what it is, but we all have something that we use to hide and numb and create those walls so that we don't have to feel those icky, vulnerable, soft feelings anymore. And then sometimes we see what it is and can permit our identities to change. So the identity for me that had to change was, I'm Lydia Joy, I'm vulnerable in these places, blah, 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 blah. I'm a student, I'm doing all of these great things. And also, I like to have fun. So I have a couple drinks and I go out with my friends or whatever. And that identity had to change from, I like to have fun, which I do, but I do not drink. The identity changed to, I am sober. The identity changed to, I am looking at my life in a way that it doesn't require that much numbing out on that regular basis. And without being ready to let my identity change, the behavior couldn't change either, and I couldn't come to know myself in a deeper way. I hope this is making sense. If I could see you, I would ask, and then you would probably nod your heads. So I'm just going to pretend you're nodding your heads, and if it doesn't make sense, we'll talk about it later. I'm looking at my little bubbles. Okay, there's the one that I wanted to get to. I'm so glad that Jen mentioned a quote by Brene Brown this morning, because I also have a quote from her. For a second, I thought it was going to be the same one, and I was really excited. Brene Brown also said, I now see how owning our story and loving ourselves through that process is the bravest thing that we will ever do. It is scary. And it is absolutely terrifying sometimes. It is uncomfortable. It can feel icky. It can make you feel like you want to shower or want to hide. To own parts of your story and to own the parts of yourself that are changing in ways that you are uncomfortable with. It was frightening for me to own the parts of my story that were changing in ways I was uncomfortable with, that went from one way of understanding myself to a completely different one and meant that my life had to change in a radical way. But it was one of the bravest things that I think I have ever done. It is one of the bravest things that any of you will ever do. And to go back to that very big long quote that I read about our intervulnerability, the depth to which I can get vulnerable with myself and honest with myself and allow myself and my story to change is the depth to which I create space for other people to do this as well. None of us live in a vacuum. We all know through being good students of science of mind that each of us, all of our thoughts go into the same thing. We're all connected. We're all part of the one mind. So the more of my own work I do, the braver I get, the more vulnerable I get with myself, the more other people are able to as well. So I've heard this quote. I don't remember who said it or where I heard it, but by saving your own life, you save other people's lives in the process. The only way we can do this is together. So I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping us up here. I do have a question for you this morning. I know that you all love to have, I think Rev Chris calls them tell us questions. So you are going to tell us as vulnerably as you possibly can, safely, what part of you is hiding and what does it hide behind? So for me, some time ago, I would answer this question. My vulnerability is hiding behind alcohol. It could be a lot of different things for you, but I would love to hear your experience.
Thank you, Lydia Joy. So the question is, what part of you is hiding and what is it hiding behind? And as you think about that question, I'm going to invite Lynn up to sing a song. And if you have an answer to that question that you'd like to share with us, you can go ahead and kind of start walking up to the front. And if you are online, we also want to hear from you. So please put your answer in the chat. What part of you is hiding and what is it hiding behind? And I'm going to be thinking about that as well to give my answer. So go right ahead, Lynn.
Okay, here's a song called Lovin' You. You setting out alone, search of a home for your heart. You checking off your list of everything you want for you. Love comes in all shapes and sizes. Love has no color or shame. Love is always there beside you. True love doesn't have a name. The past keeps tapping on your shoulder. Hurt has hitched a ride too. Just stick 'em in your suitcase. And remember, it's what's made a sweeter you. Love knows no perfection. Love sees the truer side of you. Love knows no isolation. Love is seeking you. You can never see tomorrow, just the scattered pieces and missing parts. But you can be a believer that love can heal a broken heart. Love is ever mending. Love sews a golden thread. Love pulls pieces together. Love, love, love is all love says. You are never alone in search of a home for your heart.
Thank you, Lynn. So, what's hiding behind what? That's the question. What part of you is hiding and what are you hiding it behind? So, who has an answer to that question? Harrison.
Thank you, Reverend Chris. Wonderful, wonderful question, and something that really touches me deeply. Not just at 71 years old, but I think my whole life, you know. And I think there's a real young, terrorized part of me, very young, that just can't be made wrong. You know, oh no, I can't. And like is so afraid of being made wrong and then exiled or isolated. So I've had that, I think, my whole life, as far back as I can think. And I probably, like many of us here, I'm very good at spiritual bypassing, you know, going off on like meditation retreats, or I'll go, you know, hike in the woods for long periods and get away from society and get away from myself that way. But at the same time, you know, there are difficult, you know, things, conversations we need to have and things we need to say. So to have the courage to do that is really, really hard for me. But, you know, something that we work on.
Thank you, Harrison. Who else would like to share? I keep pulling it back up so I don't forget the question. What part of you is hiding and what does it hide behind? About Miriam.
Okay, I think not having things, I have a control thing. So I think for me, not having things like easy solutions, like I like things sort of filed and neatly, and it kind of needs to happen quick. So if that doesn't happen, then panic sets in, and I guess more control sort of comes in. So I think for me, like just having, I'm working on being comfortable with not having a quick solution, and then attached with that is apologizing. Like I feel like I've perfected my art of actually coming back and apologizing, or figuring out where I've gone wrong and actually making amends, and like perfecting the art of doing that has been really nice. Like I'm not perfect. I mean, I haven't perfected that, but working on it has been like, has alleviated a lot of that pressure. So it's been really nice, you know, so I'm still working on it. So.
Thank you, Miriam. Yeah, that control one. I think that comes up for a lot of people. Anyone else? Any online? Anyone else? Okay, well, I will say there's so many. There's so many things that I could say. I think that I have this very strong desire to be liked and loved. And so the part of me that hides is that strong, clear, centered part that knows what I know. And it hides behind this sort of timidity or pretending I don't know, or showing up as the beta. We call our dog the beta dog because he is not an alpha dog, you know. And I've been working on standing in my truth and standing in my clarity and knowing and being okay with being that strong presence. I was always told as a child, can't you just be quieter? Can't you just disappear a little bit? And so there's one online. Okay. And so for me, that's what it is hiding who I truly am, my authentic, strong self behind my need to be loved. All right, let's see. Beth Carmen says she wants to protect herself from being hurt. I've hidden behind instant gratification, had a closet of shoes that would have made Imelda Marcos proud. I notice now that I do. I keep my schedule overly full. Ooh, instant gratification and keeping, yes, that glorification of busy, right? Keeping yourself overly busy so that you don't have to think or look at what's going on beneath the surface. Thank you, Beth. All right, last call. All right, so on that note, I would like to invite Reverend Lydia Joy back into the room to do a prayer with us.
Thank you, Rev Chris. So just join me in a breath, closing down your eyelids if that feels comfortable. How good it is to be right here, right now. How good it is to remember right here and right now that all that is ever happening is the divine unfolding itself, revealing itself, pulling back the covers to see what this and that aspect look like, to see how this and that facet shine. And so how good it is to remember that I am part of this, as is everyone gathered as Celebration Center, as is everyone gathered across the globe. How good it is to remember that all that is happening is God is showing up as itself. And so in this is the opportunity, is the comfort, is the ease of vulnerability. It's only ever God. How easy it is to reveal God to God. How easy it is to remember that the divine is holding and lifting and soothing each of us as we uncover these parts of ourselves, uncover these many aspects of the divine showing up through ourselves in ways that may be tender. And so I allow all fear, all needing to hide, all fear of exile, of isolation, all need to apologize, all need to panic, all need to control, all need for instant gratification, all false timidity to fall away. And instead, I know that each of us moves through our lives. How good it is to move through our lives knowing that we can never be separate from the one, that we can never be out of control, that there is nothing wrong with us right here and right now, that we are strong and clear and centered and safe in the heart of God. And so please join me in anchoring this truth in deep gratitude as we say together, and so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Lydia Joy. So this is the time in our service for our gifts and our offerings as a reminder that you are a blessing to this community. Your mere presence showing up is a gift to us. And so we are a tithing community. Everything that we bring in, we tithe 10% back out to our community, our greater community, because we believe in the law of giving and receiving. So if you have a tithe, an offering, or a donation for us today, there are so many ways that you can give. You can scan the QR code. Oh, I did it the right direction today. You can scan the QR code. You can put something in the basket if you are here in the room, or you can go to our website, celebrationcenter.org, and click on the Give button. And all of that will take you to our Secure Breeze website where you can make a donation. You can set up auto reoccurring donations or a one-time donation. And we are so grateful for all of the gifts that you bring, whether it's your talents, your time, your treasures, your presence, your love, whatever it is. We are so grateful for the generosity of this community. And now I would like to invite Jen up to bless our offering and give our offertory affirmation.
And so please join me in our offertory affirmation. I open my heart to give and receive the blessings that our spirits promise to me. As I do, the entire universe conspires to give me an abundant life, and I open to accept it. And so it is. And so from a grateful heart, we simply relax. Knowing that the flow is always moving through our lives, this abundant flow of whatever we desire. This abundant flow is moving through the celebration center powerfully, supporting this center, uplifting this center, expanding what is possible for this center and beyond. And so we simply trust this flow continues, expands, and is the very wonderful essence of this community in so many ways. And so it is.
So now repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. I am led by Spirit. I am guided by wisdom. I am protected by love. I am here to be a blessing. I am so grateful. And so it is.
There we go. All right. I would love if you feel able and you want to stand up, and we're going to sing together Celebrate by Ricky Byers. There is a light inside of us all, and I don't know if you know there's a light that is so bright. I just thought I'd tell you there is a light inside of us all, and I don't know if you know there's a light that is so bright. I just thought I'd tell you, celebrate, 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 celebrate. Come on, celebrate, 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 celebrate. There is a love inside of us all, and I don't know if you know there's a love that is so strong. I will thought I'd tell you there is a love inside of us all, and I don't know if you know there's a love that is so strong. I just want to tell you, celebrate, 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 celebrate. Come on, celebrate, 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 celebrate. There is a joy inside of us all, and I don't know if you know there's a joy that is so strong. I just thought I'd tell you there is a joy inside of us all, and I don't know if you know there's a joy that is so strong. I just want to tell you, celebrate, 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 celebrate. Come on, celebrate, 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 celebrate.
Yay. I love that song. So y'all, I forgot a really important announcement. If y'all want to sit down, it'll be just another minute. I forgot a really important announcement. I was so excited about Reverend Lydia Joy joining us. So we are looking for some volunteers. So the first volunteer that we are looking for is somebody to gather everything that we have donated over the month and to bring it to Lutheran Social Services. It's about 10 or 15 minutes from here. It's super close, just a few miles away. And for this month, I would support you. So we could take the shampoo together that we collected last month. We're going to go this week. And I can show you and introduce you to everyone and show you what to do and all of that. So if you're interested in being our monthly donation drop-off person, please come talk to me. Also, we are doing a rearrangement and a reorganization of our building, of our physical space. Not the sanctuary. The sanctuary is going to stay the same, not Hyatt Hall, but we're going to be reorganizing the bookstore, the library, the boardroom, and all of our many, many storage areas. We're going to be consolidating into one storage area. So we are going to need lots of help with this project. You don't necessarily need to be able to lift anything, but if you want to come sort, if you are good at throwing away things that we no longer need, we want you. if you are good, I see a hand in the back. If you are good at being like, you're never going to use this, get rid of it. Come, we need you. So please come talk to me if you're also interested in that project. We're going to begin working on it in the month of July so that we can have a kind of vibrant, re-energized space post-pandemic, whatever that means. So now that we're back here in person, and with all of that, I send us out into the world, with just such a deep, profound self-love that we allow ourselves to change and shift and grow just as we allow others to do the same. And so it is.